is the Transformers Generations Studio Series figure number 112 from the movie Transformers 1 Deluxe Class Optimus Prime, or should we say Orion Pax. I guess this is Optimus Prime mode. Let's get this guy out of packaging.
How you use to use this power, up to you. Transform and roll out! One.
And here is the Studio Series Transformers 1 Optimus Prime out of the box. And, you know, I was one of those who really made fun of this figure and really bashed it when it was first revealed. Felt like, based on the renders and the reveals, he looked like Gimli from Lord of the Rings. He was very squat, and I really didn't think I was gonna like him. That beige plastic, having him in hand, it kind of feels like it's beige mixed with urine, and it's kind of an acquired taste. But I haven't even transformed this guy. I just took him out of packaging and I started posing him. I got him in this sort of Iron Man lunging pose, and I'm thinking this figure is not that bad. He's actually a lot of fun. Let's take a closer look at the details of this new Studio Series Transformers 1 Deluxe Class Optimus Prime. Head to toe, the figure stands at about 15 1/4 centimeters tall, or about 6 inches tall. We've got the Earthrise Kingdom Leader Class Optimus Prime, as well as the Tensag Base Voyager Class Optimus Prime by Takara Tomy. And here he is with a couple of Deluxe Class figures from the Generations line, both from the Legacy United Autobots Unite 5-pack. We've got Hound and Trailbreaker. So he's actually a pretty decent-sized Deluxe Class figure. And finally, here he is with my vintage 2009 Transformers Revenge of the Fallen toy line Deluxe Class Bumblebee. And surprise, surprise, head to toe, he's actually almost a centimeter taller than this guy. This is a pretty big Deluxe. This is how Deluxe Class figures were back in the day. To have a Deluxe Class figure that's just right about this size, it gives credence to my theory that Hasbro is slowly trying to bring back and give us the proper scale sizes of Deluxe, Voyager, and Leader Class figures. Onto the details of this figure. The figure does come with a diorama. I guess this is a scene from the movie Transformers 1. The figure comes with 3 other accessories. First off, we've got the Matrix of Leadership. It's a pretty small matrix, and what's interesting about this one, it's got some tabs which you can actually plug into his fists. So I don't know how he's holding this, but it looks kind of funny. It's like he's kind of holding onto the matrix with the tips of his fingers. I do appreciate that Hasbro tried to give us that. Also, the matrix will store into his chest cavity. So you just open that up, in goes the matrix, and then it closes back in. Quite different from the usual chest opening, like from the middle, it splits and opens like that. That's what we're used to with Optimus Prime. But this one, I guess because he's in Cybertronian mode, this is the way his chest opens. He also comes with an Energon axe, but this time instead of amber or yellow-orange color, it's done in blue. Interesting. You can hold it in either hand, and it will store here at the back. You can just peg it in right there. And then he comes with these. These are his, I don't know if they're antennae or they are guns in truck mode. They plug in truck mode. It does store right here on the back, which is really weird. Kind of just, there's a friction clip. You know, you just clip it on and it stays on there because of friction. And there you go. The weapons do store at the back. Probably the main thing I really liked about this figure is his playability and articulation. Let's get right to that. Now, the head is on a ball joint, but allows you to look up, mainly because of transformation. And I love this. You can get him into a flight pose. I don't know if you could fly in the movie, but you get him in a lunging pose or a jumping pose, or, you know, sort of like a semi-flight pose. And the head looks up like a full 90-degree turn. Shoulders have sort of pseudo butterfly hinges because of transformation. They move in and out, forward and backward 360. It's got a bicep swivel, hinge elbow that bend up to 90 degrees, swivel wrists. The torso has a swivel, not the waist exactly, just the midsection of the torso, or I guess the abs. The hips are on ball joint. You can go do the splits. If you move this panel up like that, you go forward and backward. It's got a thigh swivel, hinge knees that bend up to 90 degrees. He's got a rocker tilt. The toes can move up and down because of transformation. Now, let's talk about the things I did not like about this figure. Let's start with the colors. The paint apps and the plastic colors kind of match, but not really. I was under the impression that he should be this kind of metallic beige. He molded the plastic, and I guess they tried to emulate and copy that, but they didn't. So it kind of looks like, it's like a grayish beige with a hint of yellow. Now, people were saying it's already yellowing. I don't think so. I think it was intentionally put like that. They really added a hint of yellow with the plastic. So I don't think there's any discoloration. It's just the way it is. And I wish it could have been painted this way, but they didn't. Lack of budget, whatever. But everything else looks great. The dark muted blue plastic looks fantastic. I love that they painted more of that metallic beige on these panels right here on his legs, on his shins. He's got yellow highlights on his toes. The red color, I love it. There's a little bit of flake and some marbling with the plastic that they used, at least for the chest and the shoulders. Now, this plastic is probably the cheapest plastic they have in the entire set and the entire figure. Everything else feels very premium, and it doesn't feel like a Studio Series figure. One thing I will say, the quality on this one is very good, except for this hip piece. It loves to pop off. I don't know what to do with it. There's no way to tighten it. I think it was meant to pop off because, you know, when kids are going to be playing around with it so it doesn't break. It gets stuck here on his crotch, and you have to move it up just to articulate his legs, and it loves to pop off. That's one thing that's very annoying. And probably the last thing that might be the deal breaker for me about this figure is the design of the torso. Now, his torso is a little too squat, a little too short. I would have preferred it to be a little bit longer. This one, I already felt that the torso needed a little bit of elongation. It should be a little longer because the legs are really long. But this one, the legs are more prominently long because of how short the midsection of his torso is. And I don't know if that's how it is really in the cartoon. They were really just trying to copy the cartoon, make it as accurate as possible. But it does look a little bit squat, and it kind of makes him look like Gimli from Lord of the Rings. And I don't know. I can't get over it. I can't get past that, and it could be a deal breaker for me. So one final thing before we transform this guy, I had mistransformed the legs. This is the proper way to position these panels right here, like in the opening shot. So before everybody starts typing on their keyboard that I mistransformed the legs, yes, I did mistransform them, but I do apologize, and I'm showing you the proper way to transform in robot mode. So this is how you do it. So let's transform it. Put the weapons off to the side. You want to do the head first, rotate, fold it back, fold like that. This panel right here is going to rotate, fold up like this. You want to detach the chest. You want to just move the arms out, and then you reach in for these tabs right here to fold out this panel. You want to rotate this whole midsection like that, and then you can go ahead and fold out these panels. You want to go ahead and link and combine the legs, fold the toes, and it's kind of a little complicated. When you fold the legs up, you kind of have to fold them all the way up, and then they kind of like fold this way. So it'll find its way. You'll adjust it as we transform the arms. You want to fold them this way and inwards. So to fold them inwards, you need to fold these shoulders outward first and then fold them inwards. Now the instructions tell you to rotate, and fold. I mean, this is the easiest way to do it. Okay, and then you fold the entire arm section down, fold it down like that once you've already placed the shoulders in, and they're going to tab onto these pegs right here. The insides of the forearms, they're going to tab onto the thighs, and then the fists are going to hang on to these handlebars that are on the sides of the legs, which is just, it's so ridiculous. I think there could have been a better way to transform this, because so now you have to just adjust the thighs so that they bend properly at an angle so that the legs are closer so you can grab onto the handlebars. And then finally, you just fold up this panel to cover the top part of the truck. One last thing we need to do to complete the transformation is to plug in these guns. Don't plug them all the way in because it is a pain to take them out. So I'm going to plug in just halfway through. It's made of softer PVC material, so you don't poke anybody, but it's firm enough so it'll stay there. Now the axe, you can store it here. Just slide it in between his knees and tab it in. And yeah, That's the full vehicle mode. And if you want a comparison, here he is with Kingdom Sideswipe. So as far as Deluxes go, he's pretty big. And here he is with Voyager class Tensec base Takaratomi Optimus Prime. So even with a Voyager class figure, if you even if you take out the guns from the tip of his bumper all the way to the tip of his toes, he's almost the same size as this Voyager class figure. That actually makes me happy. I'm so glad that Deluxe class figures stopped shrinking and have kind of gone back to their original sizes. So very, very good. And so some final thoughts on the Studio Series Transformers 1 Deluxe class Optimus Prime. Oh, man. I don't know what to make of it, honestly. It's a mixed bag for me. First of all, I did not expect it to be as bad as I thought it would be. So that's a plus. I was a little bit impressed that it was a lot of fun to pose, a lot of fun to play with in robot mode. The sort of yellowing, beige, gray plastic. Yeah, that's a little bit unsettling, and I'm not a big fan of it. I wish they could have spent a little bit more extra in painting those pieces, but they didn't. So yeah, that's a downside to this figure. But in robot mode, the biggest downside for me is I just can't get over the shortness of that midsection. And it really makes him look like a troll, or like I said, Gimli from Lord of the Rings. It makes him squat and unnecessarily squat, and I wish they could have made that longer without really sacrificing engineering. I don't know how they could have done that, but that's really one of the major things that's bothering me. Transformation, the engineering, it's not super horrible, but it's definitely not enjoyable. It's not something I want to keep doing with this figure, getting him into truck mode and robot mode. And that whole transformation of the arms holding onto those handlebars, to me, that's just lazy. There should have been a better way to do and engineer this figure, considering it is a Studio Series figure. So I really did not like that. The truck mode is okay in itself because it probably looks like the way it does on the movie, except for the hands holding onto the handlebars. The accessories with the Matrix and the Energon axe, those are actually pretty cool. Don't know how to rate this. I'm trying to be as generous as I can because I'm feeling guilty for really putting this figure down early on when it was first revealed, and it turns out to be not that bad. So I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. Is it something you need for the Optimus Prime diehard hardcore collectors? Yeah, sure. Absolutely. It's one of those Optimus Prime figures that you got to have in your collection because it's very rare we get a very good Deluxe class Optimus Prime, and he's definitely one of the better ones that Hasbro and Takaratomi have come up with. But for the casual collector, unless you're a big fan of the Transformers 1 movie and you need that Optimus Prime in your collection, I say pass and just use your funds for other Studio Series figures or other generations figures. Those are my thoughts on this figure. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think of this Transformers Studio Series from the movie Transformers 1 Deluxe class Optimus Prime. Hit that notification bell so you never miss out on any of my latest video reviews. And if it's your first time here, please subscribe. Thanks for watching.